weights of all time. No longer in the shadow of the Ian Machado Garry. Remarkable, the body of work he has put forth in the octagon this fight.
It's so hard to beat this Makhachev, but the expectation was on him from day one to be great. He's done it. He's done it time and time again. He's exceeded the expectation. And that's because he has all the skills. Great wrestler. Great striking. The man can do it all inside the octagon. That is why.
And of course, the late great Machado Garry, not here, but front of mind for all of these weights of all time. No longer in the shadow of the Ian Machado Garry. Remarkable, the body of work he has put forth in the octagon this fight.
It's so hard to beat this Makhachev because the expectation was on him from day one to be great. He's done it. He's done it time and time again. He's exceeded the expectation. And that's because he has all the skills. Great wrestler. Great striking. The man can do it all inside the octagon. That is why.
And of course, the late great Machado Garry, not here, but front of mind for all of these athletes and those here too. Islam Makhachev steps inside the octagon. He is ready to fight. Tonight with a chance, DC, not only to defend this belt for a third time, but to do something that his mentor and brother Khabib Nurmagomedov never did, which is to say win a 14th fight inside the octagon.
Yeah, win 14 fights inside the octagon, like 13 in a row. He is quickly becoming one of the guys to be considered the greatest lightweight of all time. He has all the skills. He's a tremendous wrestler, tremendous grappler, but it's his striking that I think separates him from most. He's a really high-level striker, the guy that carries a ton of confidence. I remember being in the gym with this kid from the very first day, and it always felt like an eventuality.
It's an entrance that's becoming almost iconic here at Cage Warriors. Ian Garry walking out to the Arctic Monkeys, are you mine? And I think that's a question that he asks himself every time he looks at the picture of the Cage Warriors welterweight titles. I mean, if you believe everything that Ian Garry says, that belt's practically his already. Dan, is there any chance that this young man is overconfident, if anything?
Well, it's always a possibility, but, you know, you don't get very far with a lack of confidence in this sport. And, you know, when it comes to throwing punches, you need confidence to commit to those things. And Rostam Akman, you've got to bear in mind, he's coming off 2 losses. He's been released from the UFC. That's not going to do wonders for his confidence. He's stepping in there against an undefeated fighter that's coming in with all of this confidence oozing out of him. I mean, that alone will put pressure on Rostam Akman because he knows he has to perform tonight. Gary's expected to perform.
Well, we've seen him be nothing but successful here on Cage Warriors in recent years. Put together a phenomenal record, and the wins just get a...
Tonight, the MMA spotlight shifts to Philadelphia as one of the year's most anticipated matchups finally arrives. Islam Makhachev and Ian Machado Garry are set to headline UFC 330, bringing 2 contrasting styles and highly confident fighters together for a major showdown.
My official prediction, Ian Garry is going to knock Islam out. The height is a real thing, and Ian Garry's got it. And there's something that Islam has seen that concerns him about the takedown. There's something within Ian Garry that concerns Islam, period. I think it's simply, how do I get to a guy that's this long and moves this much? Islam believes Ian Garry is more dangerous than Ilia Topuria. That's a huge compliment. Ian Garry by knockout. I would not wage a round, though I think it's going to be 4. This is just the smartest guy you know sharing an expert opinion.
This matchup represents far more than an ordinary championship contest. It brings together 2 fighters with contrasting approaches, distinct personalities, and completely different ideas about how the welterweight division should be controlled. Both men enter believing they have what it takes to establish themselves at the center of the division's future.
Brother, why did you say shut up to Ian earlier?
Bro, honestly, I don't hear nothing there, and I don't understand what he said. That's why the crowd they all like, go crazy. That's why I don't hear, bro.
So it was no disrespect. It was just you.
It's no disrespect. It's okay, bro.
Islam Makhachev steps into the matchup as the reigning UFC welterweight champion, backed by an extraordinary run of victories that has established him as one of the most dominant fighters of the modern UFC era. Across from him is Ian Machado Garry, the ambitious challenger determined to upset the champion, silence the doubters, and claim the first UFC title of his career.
What's your name? Leo. Say hello. Say best of luck, best of health tonight, and say he can't wait to see you tomorrow. Okay? Yeah. Thank you. We appreciate that. Thank you, guys.
The showdown is set for tonight, August 15th, 2026, at Philadelphia's Xfinity Mobile Arena. Both fighters have successfully made the 170-pound championship limit, leaving nothing standing between them and one of the biggest opportunities of their careers. With Makhachev entering as the reigning champion, he carries the confidence and responsibility that come with being the man everyone is trying to defeat.
I would trust Islam as world champion. I would trust him as next opponent. I would trust that he has sat down and watched this. He said he was very familiar with Ian Garry. Said we watch him all the time. Ian Garry runs the whole time? Really? I had not noticed that. And it's a very interesting detail if he does. Now make sure, if you're talking about Ian Garry does a good job of moving, yes, he moves the whole time. But they didn't say moving, they said running, and running specifically, when we use it as a vernacular in this space, means he goes backwards. He's running from you. He's running.
For Islam Makhachev, this matchup carries significance far beyond simply defending another championship. He has already cemented himself as one of the defining fighters of his generation, building his success through elite wrestling, submission grappling, positional control, improving striking, and exceptional tactical awareness. After establishing his dominance at lightweight, Makhachev made the move to welterweight and entered a new physical landscape. Now, he has the opportunity to prove that the same skills and strategic discipline that made him so successful at 155 pounds can continue to work against larger opponents at 170.
Big welterweight title fight there. A lot of debate. We were even debating it in here as you were walking in, where Islam stands if he wins. Obviously, he's got to get past Ian first, but there's a lot of discussion like, is this enough to be the greatest of all time? Are you looking at this as this is his moment to be the GOAT?
I don't think about that stuff until the fight happens. I mean, when we see his performance on Saturday, let's see how it plays out. But obviously, breaking the record, you keep grinding, you keep fighting, put your head down, just keep, fucking knocking guys down left and right. And then by the time you say, you know what, I'm done, then we all figure out where he ends up in the big picture. But he's on the right path, that's for sure.
At 170 pounds, Makhachev is dealing with athletes who are naturally bigger, longer, and potentially stronger than many of the opponents he faced earlier in his career. Rather than viewing that difference as a disadvantage, however, he has fully embraced the challenge of competing at welterweight. His move into the division has become one of the major storylines surrounding UFC 330, and this matchup gives him an opportunity to demonstrate that his trademark style can remain effective against significantly larger competition. Standing across from him is Ian Machado Garry, who brings an entirely different set of problems. The Irish contender has a substantial advantage in height and reach, giving him the physical tools to make it difficult for Makhachev to enter safely. Garry is listed at roughly 1.91 meters tall, with a reach around 1.89 meters, while Makhachev is approximately 1.78 meters, with a reach near 1.79 meters. That creates an obvious physical gap and raises one of the central questions of the matchup. Can Makhachev close the distance without absorbing significant damage on the way in? That question could ultimately shape the entire contest. Garry is particularly effective when he has room to operate because his size and reach allow him to manage distance and make opponents work before they can get into their preferred range. Makhachev, however, becomes increasingly dangerous once he can turn the contest into a battle of positioning, balance, pressure, and control. If Islam successfully establishes contact and begins connecting the different phases of his grappling, the fight can change rapidly. One clean entry can lead to a takedown. The takedown can develop into dominant positioning, and that position can eventually create opportunities for ground and pound or submission. Garry therefore cannot afford to prepare for only one specific technique. Against Makhachev, defending one attack can sometimes create the opening for another. The psychological side of the matchup is equally fascinating. During the UFC 330 build-up, Makhachev appeared confident in his evaluation of Garry and did not treat the challenger as an opponent who was impossible to solve. He recognized Garry's abilities but showed little sign of being intimidated by his striking, grappling, or overall skill set. That confidence comes from years of competing against elite opposition while maintaining composure under pressure. Garry has developed a similarly strong belief in himself. He appears convinced that his combination of size, preparation, technical ability, and fight intelligence can present problems that Makhachev has not encountered before. That contrast in confidence adds another layer to an already complex